Well, the Utah Jazz managed to grab one, and in impressive fashion, nevertheless. Definitely did not see it coming. Um, there was a little bit of confusion that I saw between Kyle Filipowski actually playing today versus Walker Kessler, and then Walker Kessler being ruled. I think he was originally ruled out, then was ruled in. It was weird for me this morning or early this afternoon when I was watching. But nevertheless, in the return game of Walker Kessler, things looked really, really good. And it made me happy to see because we don't really have that many bright spots to talk about every so often. It was good logic. Obviously, this game was highlighted by the efficiency of Larry Markkinen going 11 of 15 from the field, 5 of 8 from 3-point range to go for 34 points. And he had an incredible box score plus minus of a plus 30. The only person with a higher one than him, well, two people did, but the one that had the highest was the return man, Walker Kessler, who was 5 for 8 from the field. He had some solid lob attempts as well. 1 and 2 from the free throw line. He had 10 boards, 2 of them being offensive. He also had 2 assists. One was a really smooth skip pass across, let me think, coming down in transition, kind of ball on the left wing going down. He slides into the lane knowing Colin Sexton was in the other corner, catches the ball, immediately whips it over to Colin Sexton. Colin Sexton hit the three. And I just thought that was a really, I guess, it seems like a simple read, but it's more advanced for somebody like Walker Kessler to do because we don't usually see him do anything of that nature. Not to say that he can't, but usually DHOs are where he, sees things go. But nevertheless, he also had 3 blocks, which was lovely, and then had a total of 11 points. So he had a solid double-double in his return game. Like I said, he had the highest box score plus minus for us at a plus 34. Colin Sexton, 9 of 14 from the field, 6 of 8 from 3. He did hit the 1 free throw that he took, had 1 rebound, had 5 assists, had 1 steal, only had 2 turnovers, had 25 points, and then the 32-point box score plus minus. So that was positive. It was good, Darion. Carter, nice to see you, man. Carl, she said Jazz are back on trail. It was a positive one. That's what we really needed. Might win more games because of this. Front court trio looks real. Yeah, definitely efficient. They were definitely efficient today in particular. I love to relish in the fact that I believe personally that Larry Markkinen is better than Karl-Anthony Towns as an entire complete basketball player as well as a shooter. But seeing them match up and then watching, obviously Larry Markkinen, best him, I love to see. What's good, Tayan? You said in wind trail. Tankers and shambles. Yeah. Tay, you say you can't hear me because at the Stars game, we go back to listening. Free tickets. Hey, happy for you, man. Sweet hoodie. I said you pick it. For sure. Crazy how Filipowski gets injured, then Kessler magically gets cured. It's like we have a set amount of injuries. Yeah. I mean, Walker was out for he missed 4 games? 4 or 5, somewhere in that window. But yeah, it was definitely nice to have him back. He said, nice win back in winning trail. Yeah. Sexton, Lowry, Kessler, Collins is solid. I think Lowry, Sexton, and Kessler were all, plus 30. They were off the court. We were cooked. Let's see. Interestingly enough, John Collins' box score plus minus was completely on the polar opposite end of the spectrum. Now, it wasn't negative, but he only had a box score plus minus of a plus 3. Now, he was efficient from the field, 7 of 11 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3-point range. He also hit all 4 of his free throw attempts, had a team-leading 13 boards, with 2 of them being offensive. He had 1 assist himself, 2 steals, a block. He did have 4 turnovers, which was tied for second on the team. Usually uncharacteristic of him, but nevertheless, it was a thing. He also scored 20 points, so we had 3 guys that had 20 or more, him, Colin Sexton, Larry Markkinen. And like I said, his box score plus minus was a plus 3. Now, I said Larry had 34, but I didn't say the overall thing, I guess. 11 of 15, 5 of 8 from 3, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Love to see him get to the line. 9 rebounds and 2 assists. No turnovers, by the way, which is also lovely. Absolutely, positively lovely. Keontae George also did not have a horrid game today. It wasn't great. He was 2 of 6 inside the arc and 2 of 5 outside the arc. So when you look at it, that 2 of 5 from 3 looks decent because it's 40%. Is overall that 36% on 4 of 11 shooting is not that great. He was 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He had 4 rebounds. He did have 9 assists, but he also had a team leading 5 turnovers. So some work to be done there. But definitely far from his worst overall performances. He's definitely had a lot of uglier showings, put mildly. He did also have 1 steal. Box score minus was a +9, as he had 11 points as well himself. Off the bench, Isaiah Collier in about 10, almost 11 minutes, 1 of 2 from the field. His 1 bucket did come on the fast break, finishing through contact. I love to see it. The other shot that he missed was a 3-point attempt, so he's up to now 1 of 14 on the season, I think. He'll sniff daylight soon, but it's just not there. 2 assists, 1 turnover, 2 points. Box score plus minus was the second worst on the team at a -17. So the defensive intensity from him in specific is good. It's there, but overall things weren't the greatest for the team entirely when he was on the floor. Also because he was sharing the court with a lot of the bench unit. And one of those people was Jordan Clarkson, who shot bad today. We need him to shoot good, so he has better trade value. He didn't attempt any threes today, so he was 2 of 9 from the field, 22%, but he was all of those shots came from inside the arc, and he did not have any free throws. He had 4 rebounds, 6 assists, but he also had 4 turnovers, which was tied with John Collins for second most on the team, and had a total of 4 points. So box score minus a -8 really sums up just he didn't have a really great game today. Drew Eubanks was 1 of 6 today. He played 12, almost 13 minutes. He was getting those things up. He was also 0 of 2 from the free throw line, which was a little bit weird. 6 rebounds, 1 assist, only 1 turnover though, 2 points. But he had the worst box score plus minus on the team at a -19. So, understandably so, Drew Eubanks wasn't that great. Cody Williams was 0 of 3 today, still hunting for a bucket. If you look on any betting site, you love to see, not you love to see, but it's funny to see that his over-under is like 2.5 points. And it's genuinely a question because he has games like this where, 3 shot attempts, 2 of them being 3-pointers, doesn't hit 1. But, growing into his role, I'm glad they cut down on his minutes because they weren't being very progressive. I would like to see a healthy Filipowski be the person that gets more minutes than him in particular. He did have 2 rebounds though, no turnovers, box score plus minus of a -6. He did not score. He also, Johnny had a good game today. I gotta give credit where credit is due. In just 16.5 minutes, 4 of 8 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3-point range. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He only had 1 turnover, 12 points total. Box score plus minus of a +17. Seeing him on the court along with Lauri Markkanen was actually very interesting. There were a lot of simple sets that got ran for the both of them where they were more of give and go variety and just making that extra pass. And I like to see that. Obviously, we know that they're both good shooters. Johnny is obviously specifically a shooter. So if his shot isn't falling, then he can't stay on the court. And today his shot was falling. So he got to stay on the court. And I'm sure he loved the opportunity to get that 12, 3, and 2 that was appreciated in this victory. To heap a little bit of extra praise onto everybody. Defensively, we did pretty well. We kind of got cooked in, not really on the glass. I won't say that. We got cooked when it came to transition defense. And it was like, I remember one specifically. It was one of Keontae's misses. He has the ball. Instead of driving, he backs it. He decides he doesn't want to drive, backs it out, shoots a 3. 3 misses. His man sprints back in transition trying to get that bucket. Keontae kind of is late to react and then also doesn't sprint back. So his man literally has about 12 feet of distance between him and the next person, goes down the court, easy lay. That sort of stuff was a little bit undesirable, but overall we held them to literally 39 of 100 shooting, and that's obviously 39% from the field, 17 of 51 from 3, 33%. They were 11 of 12 from the free throw line for their 91%, but overall a low free throw count, so that was nice. They had 40 rebounds, 11 of them being offensive. They had 25 assists, 10 steals. They had 10 blocks as well, which is wild. We only had 4 for reference. And then they had 9 turnovers to our 18. It is very rare that a team will have 18 turnovers and be able to close a game, much less win it convincingly. And 121 to 106, 15-point cushion is pretty serious. Continuing on, we both had 19 personal fouls, so it didn't really matter. For us, we were 44 for 87. They had 13 more shot attempts than us, and we still managed to hit 5 more than them. So we ended up shooting 50.6% from the field. We were 19 of 34 from 3-point range, which was 55.9%. We were 14 of 19 from from the free throw line, which was about 74%. And then we had 52 rebounds, 9 of them being offensive, and then 30 assists. Love to share the rock. When everybody's sharing the rock and everybody's hitting their shots, it makes it easier to pass the ball around. And also, you're equally rewarded because the ball goes in the net. So there was that. Only 4 steals and 4 blocks, like I said before, and then that egregious 18 turnovers. So turnovers, transition defense are the big we got to be better kind of moments from this one. But everything else was pretty solid, if not exemplary. And then obviously you have like the small negatives like Drew Eubanks and Jordan Clarkson shooting poorly from the field, but it was there. Beating one of the better offenses right now is good. Mm-hmm. Being able to disrupt them the way that we did was very impressive to me. Jai, you said Johnny hitting the fourth quarter 3 was awesome. Mm-hmm. Every time I don't watch, they win, bro. I think it's me, y'all. Let me find out it's you, Chris. Start watching more if you want Cooper then. Yeah. I actually have to catch up on the recent Blue Devils games. I got to catch up on, was it Rutgers? I think is the other team that I need to be watching really heavily this college season. But, I'm going to be keeping eyes on everybody. Somebody that was absolutely frying us was that boy OG Anunoby. Goodness gracious. 10 of 19 from the field, 7 of 12 from 3-point range. Boy had 27 points, which led them, obviously, but he was hitting. Josh Hart was 6 of 11 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. He had 17. Cat got strapped, like I'm talking car seat strapped. I'm talking 6 of 19 from the field, 31.6%. Those are some Keontae George numbers right there. 1 of 9 from 3, 11%. He did hit, all 3 of his free throws. And then you had he had 16 rebounds. So he was definitely devouring the glass, 8 of them being offensive. He also had 5 assists. Josh Hart had 6 assists, 6 rebounds. So they were okay. Josh Hart obviously night and day better than Karl-Anthony Towns, even though Cat had 16 and 16. Mikal Bridges was egregious. I had Mikal Bridges on my scorecard for my bets today, and he did not pay dividends. I knew he was going to get shots up, but I did not think he was going to get strapped up this way. He got absolutely cooked. 3 of 15 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. That man was in a torture chamber. We're talking 7 points, 3 rebounds, and no assists. Jalen Brunson, the knight in shining armor for New York, 8 of 19 from the field, 42%, 2 of 9 from 3, 22%. He was 5 of 5 for the free throw line, though, had 2 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal. He only had 2 turnovers, so we had our top 4 guys turnover-wise were higher than their entire team. But, his 23 points didn't make a difference, but it happened. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for the most part, this was one of those games where it's not going to be a consistent thing. I don't expect us to play this well, next game, the game after that, 5, 10, 15 games in a row. That's just not going to happen. The injury bug will continue to bite us. This time it's now Flip, which obviously is a lesser loss than Walker Kessler. I think overall, Walker Kessler being there in the game and available did a lot of things for us, because that means that not only did we have a reliable lob threat, we also had somebody that was a little bit stronger cleaning up the glass and a stronger rim protecting presence on the court than Kyle Filipowski was. But it's nice to see Flip play any day of the week that you can get it. Obviously, Colin Sexton, John Collins, Larry Markin, all shooting the lights out. They hit 13 out of our 19 threes together. 13 out of our 19 threes together on just 19 attempts, actually. So they were spraying that thing. Gotta love to see it. I want to see us win once more. He said, how's my boy Key? Good today or not? He had a rough outing. He did have 9 assists, but he had 5 turnovers. He was 4 of 11 from the field overall, but he was 2 of 5 from three-point range. So this isn't the worst game he's ever played this season, but it's definitely not in the upper half. I think this is like the 14th game he's played. So, or 15th. So this is definitely not his best game, but it is a game. So I guess we give credit where that is. You know what I'm saying? Kessler altered a ton of shots, even if he didn't block them. Yep. The sheer presence and aura of Walker Kessler, ladies and gentlemen, on full display. When the blitz key in the fourth, he struggled, so he's probably going to get blitzed way more. Yeah, that's what I was surprised that it took that long for it to occur, because usually a lot of teams end up putting Keontae into conflict a lot earlier into games, and it just throws off his whole flow. But today it didn't really get that bad. I mean, it got bad. 5 turnovers is pretty bad, but it happened. It's okay. It's okay. Growing pains, and hopefully something will, make it happen, I guess. But any thoughts? Any video ideas? Any considerations to be had? On a side note, though, Bryce Sensabaugh is somebody that I feel has been a casualty, and unjustly so. Like the game before this one, I low key wanted to go live, but it just wasn't a good game. It wasn't a good day for me. But Bryce Sensabaugh really just trying to take advantage of the minutes that he gets. He's been efficient this season, and honestly, between him and Jordan Clarkson, obviously, I'd rather have him play. It just seems like Jordan Clarkson isn't going to be tradable for us. Like kibbles and bits. We're talking about Bryce Sensabaugh averaging 6.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, and half an assist. I want to look up these shooting splits. 46.8% from the field on 4.7 field goal attempts in the games that he played. Mind you, he's played 10 games so far. Last season, in 32 games, he only shot 39% from the field. So he was on his Keontae George timing last year. He also shot 29.6% from 3 on 3.6 attempts. And in the 10 games that he's played so far this season, he's averaged 2.9 attempts. So a little bit under, but still manageably so. He's also played 5 minutes less per game so far, but he's shooting 41.4% from three-point range. So I love what I'm seeing from him. It's a small sample size. I get it. But 10 games of consistency, I think it warrants some level of respect. And at this point, if we keep getting this version of Jordan Clarkson going forward, I unfortunately will have to admit that he is washed. And I didn't think he was washed. I thought he was just going through some rough patches. We were asking him to do a lot of stuff that he wasn't accustomed to doing. But when we put him in a position to be specifically a scorer, and he's picking shots that aren't going in, it's a tough watch. It's a tough watch. I'll say that. I'm not a Jordan Clarkson hater. He's incredibly inefficient though. And it stays this way. Christy said you should do a video from who next year's draft class will fit well with Utah's roster. Yeah, for sure. I know I did a video about Cooper Flagg recently. I want to do one about Ace Bailey and probably Traore. There's a fourth name that I'm forgetting right now that I was interested in, but I want to do like little checkups on each of those guys over the course. I might just do a compilation video talking about all those guys and make it like a 12 to 15 minute video, give them each like a little 3-minute. Ooh, hold on, Ja. You talking to me right now. Not gonna lie, I'm high on Ace. Feel like he's not talked about enough. Definitely not talked about as much as he should be. But and that's not me saying that I'm hating on Cooper Flagg, but Cooper Flagg defensively is really solid. He has that energy and that vibe about himself. Offensively, his decision making is my biggest concern. It's not even his ability, his lack of shooting touch so far this season, or touch on floaters, stuff like that. I love his aggression, right? I love his aggression. but he has a tendency to just drive straight into somebody's chest, gets caught in a very compromising position, and then can't get the ball out to a nearby teammate, nor can he get off a really good shot. So he's forced to burp up just some consistent garbage. And it happened enough. The Kentucky game. I love watching blue blood games because those are usually the ones, particularly with Kentucky, because they are always really, really good with their guards and just really well coached by Calipari. I really was looking forward to that game, and Coop really struggled in that one, and that told me a lot about him. Defensively, he was definitely there, but offensively, I got to see a lot of his weaknesses, and I want to see how many of them he ends up working out. Ace Bailey gets not nearly as much. Before the season started, I felt like he was getting more love than he is now. And let me actually pull up these numbers since we have, we went through this game review in like 15 minutes. So what I'm going to do is Ace Bailey stats. We're going to do a quick little glance at him, see what we can get going here. Yeah. Now, he's not playing, the most insane teams, but 20 points, 8 rebounds, half an assist. Obviously not a major passer, but he's 6'10", 200 pounds. So there's that. The range is incredible. I'm not going to call him Kevin Durant. I was tempted to at one point. The glaze was going to be insane, but he's right now averaging about 7 of 12.5 from the field, shooting 56%, obviously. 1.5 out of 3.5 from three-point range, which is 42.9%. He's shooting 75% from three-point range from the free throw line on 6 attempts per game. Only 0.5 out of his 8 rebounds tend to be offensive. And then he's averaging a block, a steal, and he's averaging a block, a steal, and only 0.5 personal fouls per game. That's going to go over a lot of people's heads because a lot of people don't value defense or value fouls, and they're like, oh, if you're not fouling, you clearly aren't trying hard enough. But no, Ace Bailey's a good defender. And seeing that he has less personal fouls per game than steals and blocks individually makes me very happy. He's also only averaging 1.5 turnovers a game, which is really, really good. If I wanted to be, I do want to be that guy. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up Cooper Flag's numbers to be dickheads. All right, let's see here. Yeah, they did. Wait, they just played Arizona, number 17. How do you shoot? 45% from the field, 40% from 3. Okay, cool. Let me find out. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 4 personal fouls, 24 points though. The efficiency was there. So against Arizona, he was locked. He was locked. Overall this season in his 5 games at Duke, Cooper is averaging 17.8, 8.8, and 3.8. So he's a better playmaker than Ace Bailey, and he's expected to be a better playmaker than Ace Bailey at this point. Shooting a little bit, well, not a little bit, shooting a lot under his percentage-wise from the field. Oh, my goodness. 44.6% from the field, 26.1% from three-point range on 4.6 attempts, which is not great. But yeah, and then from the free throw line, he's on 4.6 attempts, shooting 73.9%. So ballpark about the same as Ace Bailey, but from three-point range, it's night and day. He's not hitting the same way Ace Bailey is. From the field, by default, he also isn't. But rebounding wise, holding steady, ballpark in the same window, definitely a better assister, averaging 1.8 blocks to Ace's 1, and then also averaging 1.8 steals to Ace's 1. But he's also averaging 2.4 personal fouls. And 2.8 turnovers. So he's averaging about double the turnovers and also almost double the blocks and steals. Neither are slouches, but the turnovers I think are more egregious than anything. Granted, Ace Bailey has only played in 2 games. I just peeped that as I was scoping through this. So 2 games, extremely small sample size. We're comparing 2 to 5 games, right? Now, that said, he's 14 of 25 from the field overall and 3 of 7 from 3. So compared to Cooper Flag 6 of 23 from 3. I think I should reserve judgment on Ace Bailey's 3-point range until he gets up to at least 15 attempts. So probably 2 more games. He's 9 of 12 from the free throw line to Coop's 17 of 23. So basically the same from that ballpark estimate. But yeah, I'm definitely a big Ace Bailey fan. I definitely love what he brings to the game. I definitely would love to see what if he would be so kind as to join us in Utah. I think it would be lovely. I think whatever team gets him is going to be pleasantly surprised. He's gonna be one of those ones. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, he's generational, because he hasn't done enough to warrant such a title. I would also say Cooper Flag definitely has not done enough to be warranted such a title as generational. Did he look good when he was playing, over the summer, USA basketball, all that stuff? Yeah, he looked pretty decent. But we also were seeing a bunch of practice tape. If we rolled out the ball and had a scrimmage and lights, camera, action, I don't think it looks the same. Not to say that he gets absolutely fried, because I don't think that's the case. But I definitely don't think that things look as great. How Utah's hordes of picks for the Cavs to be the 1 seeded pick guard is garbage anyways. Yeah. Everyone thought the Cavs were worse this year, and last year they could have traded that pick for Murray or even Cat. I mean, it's just one of those things, man. I don't hate it. A first round pick is a first round pick, even if it's going to be a high one. The Cavs have been very, very impressive this season. Can't take anything away from them. Definitely surprised me more than any other team. The regression on the Timberwolves made me sad. The Spurs are my dark horse for the playoffs. The only reason they're not a sure shot team is because of how deep the Western Conference is. But as soon as they got Stephon Castle, I don't think you guys understand how badly I wanted Stephon Castle on the Jazz. You would not have to worry about Keontae George at the point guard spot, because Stephon Castle would have loved to play point guard. Now he's learning point guard alongside Chris Paul, and he's putting up some solid numbers. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and glaze him for a second. What did I just say? My brain just, wow. Stephon Castle. They also call it, since he's number 5, Wemby's number 1, they call it Area 51, and I love it. It made me smile. All right, so in 25 and a half minutes, he's averaging 10 and a half points. He is only shooting 38.7% from the field, but over his past 6 outings, 3 of 6, 7 of 12, 4 of 11, 3 of 13 is 6 of 14 is 7 of 15, better. But 2 of 7 from 3, 1 of 3 from 3, 1 of 7 from 3, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 4 from 3, 28% from 3-point range, 2.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, half a steal, 0.4 blocks. Growing pains are growing. Woo! The shooting splits are a little bit worse than I had envisioned in my head watching him play, but defensively, he's everything that I wanted, that I could want a guard defender to be. Oh my goodness. And the fact that he has the opportunity to learn from one of the best point guards the game has ever seen in Chris Paul, I think that he's I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, he's going to come out next season, he's going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but considering CP3's effect on number 1, Devin Booker, number 2, SGA, I think this is number 3 right here. I think Stephon Castle is that guy, and I wanted him so very badly. I wanted him so very badly. But, the dice rolled as they did, and here we are. Tanking. But getting us surprising wins every now and then. You said, oh, Don just being petty. In seriousness, none of the New York teams value him the same or more than Cleveland does. One is rebuilding, and one is getting a defensive-minded 2-way guards. Fair play. Nice joining us. You don't get a choice. Our rebuild is going to be worth it when we win 3 in-season tournaments in the next 5 years. Man, I need something. I don't know what, but I'm going to need something. We got to have something to make us smile about, make us happy, make us energized. You know what I'm saying? But didn't want to take up too much of you lovely gentlemen's time. Just wanted to make sure I did go live. This was one of our better games. I know I haven't gone live in probably 3 games. Watching the Jazz lose, Now, there's some games where it's like we lose, but I saw something from somebody specific, like how I said last game with Bryce Sensabaugh, where it's like, okay, I gleaned something from it, but there's just never enough for me to get on here and just be like, hey guys, optimism. Because we got cooked. What do you mean? Optimism. But you know, wins, I'll definitely try and be out here. Losses, if it's a good loss, probably still be live. Trying to figure out this upload schedule because I'm probably going to end up adding in some other interesting teams into the lineup during the week because the Jazz videos, because the Jazz have been so just not great, have been not doing what they used to do or what they usually would do. So thinking about the Spurs, the Hornets, who's somebody that doesn't get a crazy amount of love. I want to wait to make one on the Timberwolves, but I'm thinking about making one on the Timberwolves because that whole situation is just nasty behavior. And then OKC, of course, again, I made one about them, but I wouldn't be opposed to doing it again because they're a really freaking good team. But like always, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like the video or like the live, subscribe, turn on post notifications, become a member, drop a donation, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? And as always, good morning, good evening, and good night, no matter where you're on the globe watching. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Quality win. Quality win.